There are 140 million orphans worldwide, of which 52 million come from Africa. And if you drill down further, you'll find that over 1 million of those 52 million are from Zimbabwe. 32% of those orphans became orphans because their parents died of AIDS, and most of them are battling with the disease themselves. Welcome to The Looking Glass with me, Pastor Ndu. This is where we take a look at life through the lens of the Word of God. Today we're commemorating Orphan Sunday, and I'm going to share with you 5 ways a Christian can help alleviate the orphan crisis. Stay tuned. What is Orphan Sunday? Orphan Sunday is a day set aside every year to give attention to the plight of orphans all around the world. It was started in 1992 from Zambia and since has grown, with over 80 countries commemorating Orphan Sunday on a yearly basis. Why is Orphan Sunday important for Christians? God is vested deeply and personally in the plight of orphans, and He calls His people to share in His passion and bring His love to all children, no matter where they're from. We are to show the love of Jesus in both word and in deed. On Orphan Sunday, the church is reminded of the truth and is invited to act on it. Psalm 68 verse 6 says, God calls the lonely into families. That is what Orphan Sunday is about. Realizing that there are people out there that need families. There are people out there without homes, without, the comforts that we so easily enjoy. And God calls us to remember them. But not just remember them as a passive action, but remember them by calling us into action to actually do something, to actually come out and help the orphans in need. As Christians, we're also reminded that God adopted us. Romans 8:23 says, not only creation, but we ourselves have the first fruits of the Spirit, grown inwardly as we wait eagerly for adoptions as sons and the redemption of our bodies. God has adopted us and He has called us into His family. And so, like God, He calls us to be His hands and feet and to go forth and bring other people into our homes and into our families as well. As He has adopted us, we too should call others to be part of our family. And as adopted children, we take on the new family culture, as James said, to take care of the needs of the orphan and the widow. With that background, let's take a look at 5 ways Christians can help alleviate the orphan crisis. Number 5. Pray for the caregivers, the children, the resources, and their families. Billy Graham says, in order to get a nation back on its feet, it should first get on its knees. That means that in order to alleviate the pain faced by many orphans, we must first seek God, hear His heart, figure out His plans. What does God want to do? How does He want to do it? When does He want to do it? We shouldn't be presumptuous, going ahead of God and not paying attention to what He is calling us to do. Neither should we fall back and delay and work slowly, not catching up to what God is doing. It is only through prayer that we can walk lock and step with God. We need to pray for our hearts. We need to pray that our hearts may be softened as God's heart is softened to the cause. Pray for the resources. Pray for people to come around this initiative, so that God may be glorified and that we may do things as He is calling us to do. Number 4, spread the awareness of the problem. You'd be surprised how many people don't even know the magnitude of the orphan crisis. That is why I started the video with some statistics, because we need to know. Without understanding the issue, you cannot fix the issue. By spreading awareness, then we're calling people to not just understand and know the problem, but to work towards a solution. So please make people aware. Share this video. Use social media. in your conversations, even in your churches, at work. Let people know that there's a big orphan crisis. And if it's not dealt with decisively, this will be a social issue that we'll have to deal with in years to come as these children grow up without homes and are adults. Adults with no sense of belonging. Adults who don't know where their place is in life. So through awareness, we can nip the problem in the bud while it's still early, giving these children a chance to live a productive life, to live their life in the fullness of what God has for them. 3. If your church doesn't have an orphan care ministry, let them start one today. Bringing their needs to the forefront will also help with bringing awareness to the situation. But not only that, as you look after the needs of others, God will be faithful to look after your needs. You'll find that as people look away from their own needs and minister to the needs of others, they'll gain perspective. They'll gain a realization of God's faithfulness in their lives. So not only are you ministering to children in need, but your needs will be ministered to as well. Number 2, give regular and sustained support for orphan care ministries and organizations, such as Christians Alliance for Orphans. They need your support to keep doing the work that they're doing. They need your help financially. Give of your time. Give of your talent. Give. If you're not able to foster or adopt a child for yourself, there are many foster parents out there who are willing, who have the heart to look after orphans, but don't have the resources. So where you cannot go, let your resources go instead. You can sponsor other organizations such as World Vision and other parachurch organizations that deal directly with orphans. Your contribution can go a long way to making sure that an orphan has clean water, health care, access to education, and a home in which they can belong. There is no gift too small, and there is no gift too big. And finally, number 1, adopt, foster, or raise a child. Psalm 68 verse 6 is the crux of how God would call us to respond to the orphan crisis. God has set the lonely in families. Family is the ultimate goal for every orphan. That is what God would want, for them to belong to a family nucleus where they have a sense of permanency. That is why the traditional system of orphanages has failed, because it cannot provide that touch that a home can give you. It cannot give you a mother's hug. It cannot give you a father's encouragement. It cannot give you sibling rivalry and sibling encouragement and sibling love that comes from a family. That is what God desires for every orphan. So consider it today, considering taking on someone, and as God has adopted us into His family, into His body, let us go out and adopt children and bring them into our homes, into our families, so that they can find a place of belonging, a place where they don't feel like they have to perform to stay there, a place where they can grow up and God can, through the outworking of family, let their gifts come out and let them shine in what God has called them to be. Unfortunately, the cycle of orphans is often perpetuated, that the child who was once an orphan will leave orphans, and their children will leave orphans, and it goes down from generation to generation. We need to break the cycle, and break the cycle now by providing homes, loving homes for which the children can belong and really become part of the family, just as God has called us to be part of the body, to be grafted into the vine. We have been grafted in, so we should graft in people too and bring them into the family that God has given us by His grace and mercy and His sovereignty, that we may be an answered prayer to a child who needs a home, to a child that's looking for permanency. In closing, I'd like to read James 1 verse 27. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. The orphan crisis requires all hands on deck. It needs everyone from all walks of life to pull together for one common good. And that is the true religion God talks about, looking after the orphan and the widow. This is a crisis that requires all hands on deck. So let's keep the conversation going. Leave a comment below and let's keep the debate alive. Let's keep the awareness going. If you'd like more information on the topic we've just discussed, check out the Christian Alliance for Orphans website. I've also put a link down in the description. Please check it out if you want to help, if you want to volunteer, if you'd like to donate, as well as if you'd like to adopt. There are also some other links to other helpful resources in the description, so check it out. Thank you for watching this video. If it blessed you, if you'd like to spread the awareness, please share the video. Please like the video as well so that it can be exposed to more people. And make sure that you subscribe to The Looking Glass, where we take a look at life through the lens of the Word of God. God bless you.